This week's episode of Comics for Fun and Profit is brought to you by Marvel Pricing. Yeah, it was $3.99 for a little while. Now it's $4.99 for some things. But do you think you've got us figured out? Oh no. It's also $5.99 sometimes. But don't get too comfortable. Sometimes it'll be $6.99, maybe $7.99. There's no reason. Well, there's a quote unquote anniversary issue, maybe, or, an extra sized issue, which is like 5 more pages. Let's stop messing around. We all know we're going to go straight to $9.99, and there's nothing you can do about it because we'll do what we want, okay? So just buy the comic and shut your mouth. We're Marvel. Thank you for listening to Comics for Fun and Profit. This is episode 752, and I'm joined again by our good friend Eric from Cowbunga Comics and Deep Discount Comics in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. How are you today, sir?
Doing just great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Now we
Awesome.
did get some one of the things we did on your last visit was we said, hey, if you got a couple of questions for Eric, feel free to send them in, and he will take a shot at answering some of them. Do you want to read those questions that our listeners sent in, or would you like me to read them?
I love listening to your sonorous tones, so why don't you read them and I'll respond?
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so we've got one from Mike, our co-host from last week, who asks, of the three major distributors, which one is your highest rated? And I would add to that, you got to rank them in order, 1, 2, and 3.
Damn it. I was gonna do an out by saying each one has their strengths and weaknesses. And quite honestly, it almost depends on the week as to which one is in our good graces and which one isn't. Um, so it's a great question, and believe it or not, it's one that we get asked in the store quite a bit.
Oh, cool.
And generally, our stock answer is kind of what I was just saying. It's depends on the day. Each one of them has their strengths, and each one of them has their weaknesses. The strengths for Diamond are they have the established patterns, right? So they have the website that's already there and fully functioning. They have a better way of entering shortages and damages, which in today's world, there's a lot of. Um, it's more streamlined, and the data is generally cleaner. So I have to give that to Diamond. As it comes to the overall packaging of the comics, I have to give a nod to Lunar for that. They do a
Okay.
better job of securing the boxes, but they also have the benefit of quite a few of the products that are coming from DC are on cardstock, so they're naturally more rigid anyways. But we have a much lower level of defects due to shipping or packaging through Lunar. Penguin, I have to give them the credit that they have a much bigger catalog that we can order from and a much bigger backstock. So uh, if there's usually happens more with collected editions and than it does singles that we will want to order more, and Penguin will have significantly larger resources to draw from. They have multiple warehouses around the world because they're selling and distributing to bookstores. They tend to have significantly higher volumes than Diamond does. So each one kind of has their pros and their cons. There's some other business sided things that are different between all of them. So Penguin Random House, we have a lower discount that most people heard about when all that came up. That was one of the news articles, but we get free shipping. With Lunar, we pay shipping, but we have our old discount. And with Diamond, we have slightly modified discounts, but like inexplicable shipping charges. Like we'll go 2 weeks without being charged for shipping, and then we'll get like a $600 shipping charge. It's just the weirdest thing ever. So um, it's kind of anything and everything. And James and I actually talked about it this week prior to even seeing Mike's question. if we could take the strengths of all three of them and just smash them into one, we'd have a hell of a great distributor. But
Oh yeah.
we can't do that, right? And I will say that for what everything was before they dropped out of the race, I think my preference is still UCS.
Wow.
They set up the best website in the shortest amount of time. Their packaging was the best. And whenever we had an issue, um, I could contact them via a phone number, which Lunar does not have. Um, Penguin has one, but it's like lights are on, but nobody's home. They're short staffed and trying to do the best they can. So, I'll give them that. And then you have Diamond, where it's kind of like it falls on deaf ears at times. So, if I had to rank them, boy, that is really freaking tough. I would have to say, if I had to rank them, it is literally a coin flip between Lunar and Penguin. Um, like for me as a store owner, the thing that really frustrates me is if I go into Lunar's back end to look at items, if they don't have the item in stock, it doesn't show up on a search generically.
Oh.
Penguin Random House, doesn't matter if it's in stock or not, it always shows up. So that's a frustration. But we have less damages with Lunar. And actually, I'm going to go with Lunar because there's one other thing that Penguin does that kind of annoys us. I know on the show before I had said that we're a store who we buy our comics before they go out on sale. We pay COD, so all of our stuff's bought and paid for. We're not trying to sell this week's comics to pay for the bill that's coming in 2 or 3 weeks. And that's how we had set up our business. We like that. We like knowing that the inventory we have in the store is ours, lock, stock, and barrel. Nobody can take it back or put a claim on it. Lunar, when our items are delivered, it's just an auto withdrawal. So it's kind of like a COD. We pay for them the day or the day after they arrive. So they're paid for. But Penguin doesn't do that. They literally invoice you at the end of the month. And because things are coming from different warehouses, we can place in a normal, let's just say a normal month, there's 4 Mondays, we place 4 FOC orders. We don't do pre-orders for Marvel or DC product because we have FOC. And it's just so many extra steps to be entering orders in multiple times on multiple vendor sites that it's just easier to do it all on FOC. So we order 4 times. And then if we have a couple of reorders throughout the month, so let's just say 4 more, so 8 total orders. The way that Diamond would do that is you get 4 weeks of delivery, so you would get 4 invoices, regardless of 1 to 10,000 orders. Lunar, same thing. Whatever's delivered, that's what you pay for. With Penguin Random House, the invoice that they send us is a culmination of everything from one date to another date, and usually it's within the same month, but we could literally have like 19 different totals for 1 week's worth of shipments because of how they ship things from different warehouses. So when we get an invoice, it's not uncommon to have like 200 plus like invoice lines, and it's all numbers. There's no dates, there's no words. So trying to match any of that up is just an absolute nightmare. So,
Oh God.
so I would give it to Lunar. I would give Penguin an edge over Diamond, simply because they just have more and they get shit out fast. Like with Diamond, if I place a reorder, it's usually a week and a half to 2 weeks before I get it, unless if I direct ship it, in which case I pay 3 times the cost of shipping. If I order with Penguin Random House, I don't pay for shipping, and I generally can have my orders starting to come in within 2 to 3 days after I place that order. So I would go Lunar, Penguin, Diamond, but if I could take certain things of all of them and push them together, life
Yeah.
would be great.
I would have guessed my order for you in my head was it was going to be Diamond because of the robust ordering system that they had, followed by Penguin, even though they had the box issues, because of the volume that you do and the fact that it's free shipping. And then I was going to put Lunar last for you because you're lower. You're not a higher DC store. You don't do a lot of DC stuff, so there's probably less that you have to deal with them. And that was in my head what I thought you were going to go with. So I was totally wrong. Totally wrong.
Yeah. We actually, so we sell a ton of Marvel. We sell more Marvel than anything else, but we still sell enough DC to retain our higher discount tier. Um, and Lunar has started adding. They have Scout, Oni, Vault. So we've migrated, moving our orders over to them for some of those publishers just because their shipping is better. That's the one thing that has been terrible with Diamond. This week was an example. Half of my boxes didn't get shipped until 2 days after the other half. So normally I get my Lunar product either Wednesday or Thursday, the week before product goes on sale. I get my Penguin Random House product, 80% of it on the Friday before, and the last remnants of it on the Monday. And it always happens that way. I'm not sure why. Diamond typically comes on Tuesday, and everything then goes on sale on Wednesday. So for the mail order stuff, we ship out. Usually we can get stuff processed Tuesday night. I'm there with one of my employees, and we're there until anywhere from 12 to 2 in the morning, finishing getting stuff put together, and we try and get stuff shipping on Wednesday. Well, this week, I didn't get my Diamond until I got Tuesday, and then I didn't get the rest of it till yesterday. So we're things are being boxed up, but they may not ship out until it's pretty late now on a Friday night. I'm guessing he's not taking things to UPS right now. So chances are the bulk of it's going out tomorrow, which is way later than we like, but that's Diamond. 2 weeks ago, my entire Diamond shipment just never came. So they had to rush ship me everything again. A couple weeks before that, everything came except none of my ratio variants. And most of those couldn't be replaced, even though I called the day that everything got to me. So it's
Oof.
just it's very terribly run, as far as managing for disasters, which they accumulate a lot of, and so that's why they're in the last place slot for me.
Wow. Yeah.
They
So
make my life the hardest.
those are headaches that those are fires you have to try to put out because for your customers. So they
Yep.
don't have to feel that pain. So you have to feel that pain twice as hard. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Now, when you and James are um, looking at your orders across those three distributors,
Mhm.
and um, somebody doesn't have an exclusive contract anymore, and they're distributed across a couple of choices. Uh, if they leave Diamond to go to Penguin or to go to Lunar, is it a no-brainer that you go with one of those options then, if the discount is close, or
Um,
do you maintain it
yeah,
with Diamond? That's tough.
it's very tough, and it's it is a publisher by publisher basis because you got to look at what your discount tiers are.
Oh
Um,
yeah, because that could affect if you removed it from your Diamond order. That could affect your overall discount tier.
yeah, the good news is as
Oh,
long as Boom and Image stay at Diamond, we more than qualify for the discount tier that we want to stay at there.
okay.
So that gives us a little bit of free reign. But the other thing is we have to look at if, like, say, Scout and Vault are being distributed both at Lunar and Diamond, we're going to look at which one's more favorable to us. Now, because of Diamond's random, sporadic, and excessive shipping charges, if it's not going to impact our Diamond discount, we will tend to try and move it to Lunar. The shipping costs are a lot more clearly identifiable and make more sense to us. But we can use Diamond as a fallback. So if we get damages in our Lunar shipment and they can't replace them, then we know we've got the fallback at Diamond to go ahead and order more. That we also use Diamond for that, with IDW now and Marvel. If we get damages from Penguin Random House and we don't get confirmation that they can be replaced, then we can try and place a backup order with Diamond. Um, the thing with Marvel and IDW, you can get those through Diamond, but your discount is less than it was before, and you're paying shipping. So it's like, well, at the very least, if my discount's the same between Diamond and Penguin, which it's not, but even if it was, it would still make more sense to go with Penguin because you don't pay shipping.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's like got a spreadsheet going.
That's all. That's what I need in my life is another spreadsheet.
Another spreadsheet to determine
Yeah.
like what makes the most sense for which one. Yeah, that's cool. Very interesting. Jason asks, whatever happened to the C4 FAP Cowabunga bundle? Will it return for special occasions such as a holiday bundle?
Drew, you want to field this one?
We didn't buy it enough. We didn't sell enough of them. We didn't. We should have done more ads. Maybe if we had been inserting ads at the time, we could have sold more of the C4 FAP bundles. But sometimes we were the only ones to buy them, and sometimes even we didn't buy the C4 FAP bundles. So that would be my guess as to why they went away. Not worth the time and effort.
No, that actually wasn't the reason. We're gonna pin it on Kyle because the last one that we did, I don't even remember how long ago it was, but the next month after that, I said, "What books are we doing?" And Kyle's like, "I don't know." And so I never got books, and so I took it off of my generator, and I never put it back on. I'm open to it. I'm open to it any month. I don't care if I sell one bundle or 100 bundles of it. I'm very happy to do it. That's not a problem. We can do it for special occasions. We can do it for whatever we want. So yeah,
Okay.
the offer is always there. But since Kyle's not here to defend himself, it's obviously it was him.
That's the best time to attack. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, what an idiot. That guy's a jerk. My God.
Where do you get these co-hosts?
Yeah. Yeah. No comment. He also says, have you guys toyed around doing a Cowabunga C4 FAP exclusive cover with a smaller publisher such as Mad Cave, Source Point, or Ahoy? I know a YouTube podcast that has done one last year. I don't. What's like the minimum for something like that? $5,000 or something?
No. You can do it for less than that.
You could do it for less than 5,000.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's ever something that we would want to endeavor to do, yeah, we'd be open to it. We'd have to figure out how. Obviously, as two businesses, we'd have to figure out how the sales and the sales share would go. But yeah, I have no problems with doing that. We had an online seller who has since now gotten his own Diamond account and he's able to do his own thing, but he did not have a Diamond account before and he wanted to do exclusives and he had asked us if we would be willing to partner with him on them. So we did a couple of things with him where we leveraged our Diamond account. He went in 50-50. We split the stock 50-50 and we kind of did that. So it's not out of the realm. We've done it with other folks. We'd certainly do it again. I would just say that, it depends on the book, depends on the cover, how far in we want to go, but we're not afraid to work with people if they want to do something like that and they don't have the access to do it.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to need a few more patrons on our end before we can swing variant cover. Probably.
This is where we insert the Patreon.
Right here. Yeah, about here is where the ad's going to have to go. Join our Patreon page at patreon.com/comics for fun and profit. Why, you ask? Well, because we are on episode 700 and something, and we've been cranking these out for a decade for you. So, hey, support us. Throw us a shekel or two. Toss $1 our way. Toss $3 our way. Toss 5 or 10. Your choice. You can support us at any level, and that level gets you in our Slack channel. You get to be a part of our daily conversations that extend beyond our weekly podcast. You get entered into contests. We've given away multiple 9.8 slabbed comics over the years. We enjoy providing early access to our various episodes. We have exclusive access to shows that never see the light of day elsewhere, video shows, review shows, exclusive episodes just for our patrons. Access to Drew's comic project. Well, yeah, more of a curse and a burden for patrons, but you get to see my fledgling attempts at making comics, panel pages, process stuff, even signed and remark original prints if you want. I can hook you up with that sort of thing. So there's tons of reasons to join Patreon. If you like what we're doing and you want to help us out, server costs ain't cheap. Kyle and I have been doing this, like I said, for 10 years. We love it, but we could always use a little motivation. A little something, a little wet our whistle, a little something to give us a taste. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/comicsfunprofit.
Darrin Williams asks, when the heck is Marvel going to have some of their comics come in cardstock like the rest of the comic industry? I'm assuming this might help with damages that retailers receive from Penguin. Maybe, maybe not. I would love to hear if he has heard any scuttlebutt on that topic.
Scuttlebutt as far back as 2014. Marvel has been notorious for actually quite a while for having the thinnest cover stock in the industry, and it's been brought to their attention multiple times. It's been requested, asked, begged, pleaded multiple times, and it really doesn't seem like that's something that they're too concerned about as far as their standard comics go. And as far as exclusives go, we have upgraded a number of our exclusives to cardstock covers. The problem being that in the volume that Marvel has to print books at, that's a lot of cardstock. When we're talking us, doing a 1,500 comic run, you can get that cardstock roll of paper for, that size print run. It still can be a struggle today, but certainly not so much as if you're doing an 85,000, comic print run. That's tough, or even a 25,000 comic print run. So I wouldn't hold my breath if anyone out there is hoping for Marvel cardstock. As for the damages, that's actually something really interesting. And Drew, I don't want to promise something that I can't deliver in a timely fashion, but maybe what we ought to do sometime is do like a video recording that can be a Patreon thing where I can show the damages that we get through the different distributors.
Yep, we can do
because
that.
there's a lot of different types, and I would say that 80% of the time the damages are due to improper handling. Would the cardstock covers help? Yeah, they'd probably help a little bit, but when knuckleheads are putting stuff in boxes and not being attentive to the corners, and they're bending them up as they put them in, or they're grabbing them on the spine, so you've got a crease that goes down the spine on every book in the stack. Things like that, the cardstock's really not going to help a whole lot on, and that's about 80% of the damages are handling errors. 20% are going to be, well, I would say of the other 20%, 15% is probably damage from the transfer, whether it's UPS, FedEx, whatever it is. And then 5% are printing defects. Most of the printing defects that are egregious get caught by the distributor. And then, the publisher will put out a note saying that the item's been delayed for whatever reason. But sometimes things get through, like if a book is coming through on the printing press and the back cover gets kind of caught up, bound a little weird, and there's a little crease through it or something like that. That stuff's a lot less likely to be seen when it's a one-off book here or there. So, yeah, that might be something people would like to see, is what some of the damages look like coming out of the boxes. So maybe we can try and do that sometime. So back to the question, I don't think they're going to be rolling out cardstock anytime soon. At least like I said, I wouldn't hold my breath on it. And I don't know how much of the damages it would really help. It would probably help on 15% for sure, but the other, 85%, I don't know if it's really going to do a whole lot, just because of how things are handled.
And you're saying the reason that they wouldn't do it is because of the scarcity of the card stock itself?
Right now, yeah, the scarcity of the card stock, and the cost. I mean, it's expensive, and when you're looking at the volume that Marvel's printing at, that gets expensive quick.
So it's
So
not just an extra dollar like DC does.
they could, but
That doesn't work.
it. I mean, it could for them, but they don't. Shift prices on their covers. It's $3.99, $4.99, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.99, and it's that way through that entire issue, right? So Spider-Man 1's $3.99. It's gonna be $3.99 for covers A through whatever.
Oh, I
Whereas
see what you're
DC
saying.
does the $3.99, $4.99, and then you've got some companies that'll do like $3.99 for the open orders, and then they'll have like a premium one that's $9.99, and then they'll have like an ultra premium that's cardstock or lenticular cover, which is even better than a cardstock cover, that's $14.99. So like they don't do those mixed price tiers.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's what I didn't get. That's what I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. What is either Eric's favorite or most valuable comic that he has in his own collection?
Whew.
Can I guess? Can I guess?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I think in your favorites probably Silver Surfer, the first appearance. And your most valuable might be you've got some early Fantastic Four, so it might be that. That's my guess.
Yeah. So I have to be honest and say I don't know
Okay.
the prices of a couple of the books that I have right now, which one's most valuable, but I would say that my favorite book is probably not my most valuable. My favorite book is Silver Surfer Volume 1, number 18.
Okay. All right.
And the reason that's my favorite is because that is the only Silver Surfer book in that original volume that has Kirby art.
Oh, okay.
He created the character in FF, and when the first volume of Silver Surfer was coming out, he thought he was going to get to do the art on it, and Stan Lee kind of pulled an end around and gave it to John Buscema. So for me, that's a special issue, and there's the last panel of the book is a close-up of Silver Surfer's face, and just has kind of this anguish, agony scream coming out of him. And there's a lot of people that have theorized that panel is, and that was known that was the last issue of the first volume. There's a lot of people that think that panel was Kirby putting his inner feelings about not being able to do the art for the first 17 issues and getting the last issue of the first volume when Silver Surfer was essentially going away. That was just his feelings put out on the page, and how much despair he felt from this character that he had created, that he loved, that he didn't get to tell the stories of. So that's my favorite issue that I have. But I would say, it's probably going to be my FF48. That's my most valuable comic.
That's First Galactus?
First Surfer, First Galactus.
First Surfer and Galactus, yeah. Yep. That's a good one.
Yes, it is. Just looking it up right now on eBay, that does seem to be a good one.
Darrin also has a general comment about Cowabunga and Deep Discount. They're pretty much my local comic shop as well, and they are amazing. I don't have enough words to say how awesome Eric and his crew are. Highly recommend trying them, even if you already have an LCS. So very nice, Darrin. Thank you for the kind words and the questions.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Darrin. Yeah, I love it. I love getting to know folks. I love being there to help people, and any way that I can help people, just let me know.
And yeah, I mean that's one thing that surprises me about business owners who still have an enthusiasm for their customer base after several years of and the you got you're talking about the grind kind of, you're up until 2 o'clock in the morning packing boxes and stuff, and it's the same issues you're dealing with over and over again, and trying to keep and make everybody happy. To for you to still have that passion for customer service is kudos, hat tip to you, sir.
Well, I will say some days it can be a little bit more difficult than others. And it's never the customers. I just want that to be clear. Like, the frustrations are never with the customers, because the customer's always right. Questions, concerns, any of that stuff that comes into me, it's all justified. I don't think I've ever gotten a feedback, question, comment, a concern that I looked at and I went, what are you smoking? Because it's your money you're spending, they're your books. And I want to make sure that I'm treating them the way that you would want them to be treated, right? Or I treat them how I would want them to be treated. So yeah, I've never had an issue with customers, and I've had customers that have said, like, hey, thanks, but I'm going to go with someone different, and that's fine. That's the customer's choice, and I'm not going to stand in the way of that. I always tell them, if you ever have an issue, a question, a concern, even if it's just a random book that you're looking for, you're always welcome to reach out. And I certainly hold no grudges against any customer at all for making decisions, but the struggle can be more of the business side of things. That's just part of what you deal with in any business, especially in this day and age. If it was everything from running your own and owning your own business to being an employee in a large corporation or even a small family-run business, everyone's got to deal with the stress of, distribution networks being screwed up, and, sourcing of product being difficult at times, and patience with, customers' patience is being tested everywhere they go. And so I try and, keep that in check and make sure that I'm more attentive to what other needs are there, to try and help, maybe remove some frustration or burden. And I consider it really, it's really special to me, because the amount of customers that I have has grown significantly, but there's a number of them that give me little pieces of their personal life and tell me what's going on. Like, I have people that'll say, like, hey, I wanted to let you know I'm not putting in an order this month. Just, we've got some stuff going on at home that I need to take care of. Well, that's fine. I certainly understand. I've been in that same situation. I think most of us have been in those kinds of situations. But little things like that, I've gotten all the good stuff, like, oh, we just had a baby, or my kids graduated and going to college now, to I've had a career change, to I'm going through some medical hardships. I have two customers, one who is actively battling cancer, and one who's beaten cancer, and getting to know those things and being there along the journey. And even if they're not ordering things, staying in communication with them and just kind of letting them know, like, hey, we're states away from you, but you've got our support and we're thinking about you. And, if there's something we can do to brighten your day, lessen the load, all you got to do is just ask, and we're here. And it's just those little things. And I appreciate that, because even though we're a remote business, there's a connection to the customers, and it does feel special.
Yeah, we've worried for years about the aging comic reader and what are we going to do to replace them. And I don't know that you have that, you've experienced that as much, because you seem to have new, even though Conomowocs, what did you say, 15,000, 20,000?
Yeah, about 15,000.
So it's not a huge metropolis, but you continue to bring in new customers and get you creating new readers up there. And so you're probably not seeing what anecdotally the industry feels, that it's a bunch of old guys that are reading comics that are dying off, and when they're all dead, comics are dead. You know?
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's a little bit too. It's different in who's running the store and the approach we're taking. We've been running the store for 7 years now, 7, 8 years, something like that. Time flies,
Time
let me tell
flies,
you.
man.
But we've been running the store, and we were in our late 20s when we took over, late 20s, early 30s. So we've been still on the more recent end of the timeline of the comics industry. So we've come, post Malibu, post Image Revolution, post collapse, with all the 90s shenanigans, post Distribution Wars 1. Like, all of that stuff happened. A lot of it happened while we were alive, but it didn't affect us from a business perspective. And so we've walked in kind of seeing the relics and the chaos that happened in the past and looking at the monuments and saying, let's not repeat that. And when we stepped into the business, it was very clear from the get-go to us that we couldn't just be a comic store, right? And we certainly couldn't be that, that Simpsons kind of stigma comic store. We wanted to cater to people who wanted a comic store experience, but for us, it was and still is incredibly crucial that we're a family store first, right? So we have, it starts out like Billy wants to come and get Pokemon cards. Well, okay, so dad takes Billy there, or mom brings Billy to the store. And then it's like all of a sudden the parent who's never been there looks around and like, oh, wow, I remember having some of these toys when I was a kid. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. Oh, they got vinyl. I'm gonna go check that out. Hey, Billy, Pokemon cards are here. I'll be right over there. And then they see the retro video games, and it kind of starts to build. And all of a sudden, Billy and mom bring dad because mom thinks dad might enjoy it. And then, well, okay, Billy's got a sister, so here comes Lucy too. And then before you know it, Lucy's carrying around a Scooby-Doo comic. Billy's got a pack of Pokemon cards. Dad's found a Zeppelin album that he wants, and mom's just, hanging out going, wow, I can't believe that they're all enjoying this. And that happens time after time after time. And that's really what it's about for us, is we're building a community and a culture, and it needs to be a full family experience from, young kids to, we've got a gentleman in his 80s that comes in every week. He picks up his pull box, which is usually like 3-4 books. And then he'll go through our new collections that have come in. And especially if they're silver or golden age, he'll kind of turn through, and he'll usually like treat himself to 1 or 2 books. And so we've got the whole spectrum, and that's what we want. And we've got the whole spectrum of genders. We've got the whole spectrum of, ages and education and jobs, blue collar, white collar, doesn't matter. And that's, to us, that's what's important. If we were just doing comics and we had been doing it for 40 years and we, well, this is, these people, we rode high and fat on the hog with these people for years, and now they're starting to leave and not come back. Well, if you spend 40 years just doing the same thing without trying to maintain or build your customer base, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
You selling Pontiacs? Because how's that going for you? They haven't made one of those in almost a decade. And that's, or you're at the video rental store. How's that working out? Right.
Yeah.
So you have to roll with the times, and you have to, come up with an approach that serves you. And there are stores that do just comics, and they do very well. But they also have had to adjust their business model to the current day and age. And a lot of that is ratios and variant covers, right? And their own store exclusives. We don't want to be fully dependent on that. We like the mix that we have. I was looking at our year-to-date sales today, and last year was our best year, and we're 10% up on that already. But it's broad across the board. New comics, trades, gaming, action figures, statues, you name it. I mean, it's there. Video games, video game systems. So it's that's really what we've been working on, and so far it's working well for us.
Diversification, name of the game, huh?
Just like your stock portfolio.
Yeah.
Or your investment comic portfolio.
Yeah.
Always got to have a couple of pre-code horrors in with your superheroes. Just remember that, kids.
Well, there we go. We're full circle. Fantastic. Hey, let's take a look at Marvel's previews. We now have a catalog for the August catalog for October books. And on the cover, we're getting Spider-Man #1, not Amazing Spider-Man #1, but a new Spider-Man #1 by Dan Slott and Mark Bagley. I'm sure we'll get into some details on that later.
Yes.
As I'm sliding down here, our actual first solicit that we get is a relaunch of Miracle Man with Miracle Man 0. So we're going to try this again. And did you have the store when Miracle Man relaunched and came back to Marvel?
We did.
And we thought that was going to be a lot bigger than it was.
Yeah, and a lot of the reason why I think it didn't land was I didn't think the storytelling was quite as good as it needed to be. But on top of that, for those that don't know, 40 years ago or whatever, when Miracle Man was originally coming out, it was written by Alan Moore.
Yeah.
And to try and follow up Alan Moore, no one should ever want to try that. And if you can pull it off, God bless you. But it's a pocket Marvel UK kind of character that didn't have the exposure of the mainstream. It also didn't help that this was part of the Alan Moore completely swearing off comics. There's a big argument and disagreement on rights and ownership. And so there were 3 hardcovers collecting the original 15, 16 issue Miracle Man run that Alan Moore did. That's more than 16. Anyways, the original run that he did was collected in 3 hardcovers, but they didn't reference Alan Moore. They called him the writer.
Yeah, that was really, really weird.
Yeah,
and then
that's
there were the Neil
choice.
Gaiman issues that were tacked on at the end, and
yep.
Yeah, I thought Miracle Man was brilliant. I was young though and so I've never reread them since.
So everyone who is somewhat interested in this title, I certainly recommend checking it out. But what I would also say is I believe October 25th is when the Miracle Man Omnibus comes out, which does have all of the Alan Moore stuff in it. And there's also, it's no longer in print, I don't think. I'm looking it up right now. There is a supplemental companion to go to that Alan Moore. Okay. Well, there's a supplemental paperback that goes with the Alan Moore Miracle Man called Kimoda, the Miracle Man Companion.
Okay.
It's a little spendy, but if you can find it in the library, or you can, find it through whatever means online that's physically and financially feasible for you, I would wholeheartedly recommend that you read that original Miracle Man run by Moore and read the Kimoda Companion, because it is absolutely fantastic. It is wonderful storytelling, and a book that I actually speculated on probably 5 years ago was Miracle Man 15, which is the death of a character. Just call it that. And since I started buying those in 9/8, and I have a handful of them in my collection, the price has tripled.
Yeah, you called that. I remember you called that.
Mm-hmm.
I think on one of our episodes, I believe you might have called that out.
Yep.
Way back when.
So I'm very interested to see how this goes. It's Gaiman writing again, kind of the Miracle Man. So we've got Miracle Man 0, which is kind of I think a little bit of a setup issue, and then the next page is Miracle Man, the Silver Age #1.
Yeah, and I remember it very fondly, loving the Alan Moore, and it going down, discovering this Alan Moore guy, and it going down that rabbit hole and gobbling up everything he could find by him, and yeah, he's a pretty good writer. A
He
little
is.
crazy, but very good. And then we get into this Spider-Man #1
Yeah, we
slot.
got Dan Slott coming back to Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Or,
very
a Spider-Man title, I
a
should say.
Spider-Man. We'll see what he wants to do. Since Morium is back and he's not alone, allied with one of the most powerful beings known to the Spider-Verse, the scariest spider villain of all time is making his biggest play, and no spider is safe. So, interesting. We'll see. We'll see what he does.
Yeah.
Should be fun. This Axe Judgment Day is finishing up. I don't know how this is doing. Avengers, X-Men, Eternals. It's like a triple crossover. Should catch somebody. Selling. You're a big Marvel store, so I'm sure it's selling well in your store.
Yeah, it's doing all right. Certainly not one of the biggest event, mashup books that we've had, but it's doing all right. I can tell you what for us has really been down our Peach Momoko covers. It's just not there.
Too many,
and I think the style is a little too erratic from cover to cover.
Yeah.
There are some that you look at and you go, that's really cool. And then there's others that you look at and was like, that's really rushed. And I don't know if it is, but it just feels like it.
How about the Dazzler art germ cover, though, for this Judgment Day number? Is that what this is for? Judgment Day #1?
Number 6, yeah.
Number
we
6.
will
Oh my
be
God.
ordering a lot of that.
That is beautiful. Holy smokes.
We tend to order for any art germ cover. We're usually in the 200 range on quantity of those.
Really?
Sometimes more.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was a beautiful cover.
And Axe is doing a Iron Fist #1 and a Star Fox #1.
Yep, and an X-Men and an Eternals.
Is this Captain Marvel is a tie-in for 42?
Yep.
Fantastic Four 48, not the one you're thinking of.
Yeah. Easy, kids.
Is a tie-in.
It would be cool though if they would have done like a hidden gem style type thing or something and tried to do something similar to the original FF48. Missed opportunity.
I do feel like it's a missed opportunity, and I get that they're doing the Miracle Man variant series, but you could do both.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a little homage cover. Makes perfect sense, right?
I would think. Going down a little bit farther, this X-Force 33, every book that has monkeys or dinosaurs on it sells good. And this one has Kraven, Wolverine, Omega Red, and dinosaurs.
That's still the case.
You betcha. Those damn monkeys, man.
It's hilarious.
It's a beautiful Moon Knight cover.
Yeah, with a little werewolf action. Yeah, I love that. Werewolf by Moon Knight. Very nice.
Have you been digging the current run?
Yeah, I like the current run. It's cooled a little bit for me, and I didn't care much for the black, white, and blood, black, red, and blood, whatever the hell, black, white, and red. What the hell, whatever that was. I haven't loved that. Those have been very uneven, but it just feels like inventory stories somebody pulled out of a drawer.
Sure.
And not real happy with the quality there, but yeah, I think Jed McKay's doing great stuff. But you
still have to buy it because that's the only way the title will continue.
Of course, yes.
Right.
And I think Jed McKay, I think his Black Cat was better. But I think he's doing some great writing.
Good.
So
glad you're happy.
Yeah. Tomb of Dracula gets a facsimile, a regularly normally priced facsimile. I can live with $3.99. I like that. Bloodstone and
the Shadows.
Oh, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say the next one after that, Bloodstone, is the Crypt of Shadows, which has some interesting looking characters here on the cover coming together.
And a ton of writers.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's a
599,
56.
56 pages.
Yeah. I see. I recognize Moon Knight and X-23.
Man Thing.
Is that Man Thing?
Mm-hmm.
Probably a Werewolf by Night. One of those is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It might be Scarlet.
Yep. Morbius hanging somewhere in there. Shadows,
sure.
maybe.
Yeah, possible. Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah, this one's, I think, slated to come out the week of Halloween, so it's a good call.
Yeah, put all the Moon Knight out then. Nice and spooky.
Speaking of Moon Knight, hey, Moon Knight 16.
Yep. So should books have a regular title when they have an annual, same on the shelf at the same time? Because it's probably a different week, but
Here's what I'm gonna say. There's a number of titles that I go, why do you have an annual?
yes.
So I think that's the first thing we have to resolve is not everything needs an annual. But I will say that, yeah, if they're on separate weeks, I'm down with it. And I will say that Moon Knight is one book that, thanks to your continuous stumping, we have good sales, and I know other stores have good sales of it too. So the more Moon Knight I'd say at this point, the better.
Would you say it's a top 20 book for Marvel?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Probably not top 10, right?
If we were to look at ongoing titles, non-event books, so not the Fortnite stuff.
Well, there might not be 20 books.
Yeah, I was going to say, though, I would put it in the standard ongoing. So it outsells Fantastic Four for us. I would say it's top 10 in our store.
It's not going to outsell Amazing. It's not going to outsell the X books, probably.
Oh, it outsells most of the X titles.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
The one thing that Moon Knight's really got going for it, I think, is there are certain books that the current modern coloring schemes don't really enhance the covers all that much. Like, I look at original John Romita and Ditko Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
And some of those original John Romita covers that are so simple, they're just the blue, the red, and maybe a little bit going on in the background, are just stunning. Absolutely stunningly gorgeous. And you look at some of the new Spider-Man covers now, and there's just too much going on, too much color variation. You're just kind of like, it just looks like a mess. Moon Knight, I think, is very much aided by today's color and printing capabilities, because a lot of the older Moon Knight stuff, he was just white and he had the black lines to kind of indicate shadows, folds in the cape, things like that. With today's printing technology, you can get the shadowy shading. You can make things stand out, like the moon on his chest, and so, like, there's more they can do, and I think that makes the covers visually stand out on the shelf because they have that unique difference that draws the eye. And we all know that you don't judge a book by its cover, but you buy it based on its cover.
Yeah, especially if there's a monkey on there.
A monkey, or other things.
We've got Strange Academy Finals #1. Seems to continue to generate interest.
Absolutely.
Wakanda relaunching with we had a World of Wakanda series that did okay, so now we're going to do another one. Namor's going to get some screen time now that he's been in a trailer.
Kirby Hidden Gem there.
Oh, yeah, very nice. Ultraman, Wild Cards. There's the Amazing, which I think has been a really fun run so far. The Zeb Wells work has been really good.
Who's donning the yellow cowl?
Ooh, look at that. I'm going to give Taboo a chance with Spider-Man, with Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So Taboo and B. Earl. B. Earl I'm not familiar with, but I know who Taboo is. And a Raza cover.
All Out Avengers with Doom on the cover. Doom's hot. Anything with Doom on the cover seems to be doing well right now.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Very nice Stegman Jane Foster cover there.
Yeah. Yeah, all
the
these
standard fare of X titles.
So many X titles. God bless you if you're enjoying them, you got plenty to choose from.
Yeah.
They're keeping you happy. Captain America. See, I'm at a loss because I've not enjoyed Avengers for a while. I've not enjoyed X books for a while. And man, that's a huge chunk of Marvel's catalog.
Mm-hmm.
So, just a few of the solo books, and they don't get as much money from me as they used to. Oh, Daredevil, there's one I'm enjoying, even though they
that's
unnecessarily.
one that's been a very, very consistent seller for us.
Yeah. No reason to relaunch it, but they did it.
Well, why
Because they
not?
could.
Right.
Because of was it 850? 650? What was the tie-in? 650, I think.
650, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say, this Punisher War Journal Brother #1, I don't know as if I could think of another thing that writer's put out before.
Torrin? He did Thor. He did a Thor
that's
book.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because it was kind of a big deal because he was Nordic and doing a Thor.
That's right. I remember that now. You know what it was is I remember hearing the story, and then in processing books, I never even looked. That's right. I remember that now.
Then Strange, which is probably not my favorite of the Jed MacKay books, but I'm still enjoying it. I think he's doing a pretty good job.
Ben, have you checked out the Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings?
I don't know that I gave it a fair shake. I skimmed it.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of paged through it when we had it. The first issue came in.
I mean, like Gene Young Lang, when he did the Superman bashes the Klan or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That was like an amazing book. I loved it. So I really want to like his books more than sometimes I do. Sometimes I think they're a little yawny. But like that Superman book was just amazing. So I try to give him benefit of the doubt on things and assume that he can capture lightning in a bottle again.
Right. Okay. I don't know why, but I'm looking. I have two screens going.
Yeah.
And something just caught my eye. For those of you who are still with us from the Miracle Man discussion, Drew, I found a link on Google Books to the Komodo Companion.
Okay.
We can put that in the show notes.
Okay. Yeah, drop it in the chat. I'll do that.
Just that, I don't know what caught my eye, but it did. But now back to previews.
Yeah. Your
She-Hulk
Miracle Man primer.
Yeah, there you go. She-Hulk #7 is here. She-Hulk has been a strong seller, largely based on some beautiful covers. Jen Bartel has done wonderful. Her style lends itself to the fluorescent colors very, very nicely.
So those have been well received up there.
Yes,
Okay.
very.
Okay.
As well as the book that follows it, Ghost Rider. Benjamin
Yep.
Percy, a lot of folks enjoying that.
I've enjoyed She-Hulk, the read. I've not enjoyed the fluorescent color schemes of the covers.
Interesting.
I find it a little more subdued inside with the color palette, and so I prefer it inside, and I just tolerate the covers. So I guess I'm in the minority there.
Those aging eyes can't handle the bright colors, the bright lights.
It's probably
Vegas would probably kill you.
My corneas. But yeah, the Ghost Rider's been really interesting and telling us a pretty unique story, I think, so far. So it's been fun. Yeah, see, there's Torrin again working on a Thor book, Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor.
Yep. Yeah, it all clicked as soon as you told me.
Genis Vell, Defenders, not touching either one of those. I dropped off of Iron Man. I like Christopher Cantwell, so I felt bad about that. Variants, I like the first two that I read. I thought those were really good, but I really like Jessica Jones a lot, so really good character. And Gail Simone is doing a bang up job writing her. Damage Control, I don't believe I've read that first issue yet. Might not be out.
I'm trying to think. I feel like it might have come out. Genis Vell issue 1 came out this week, and it's had good pickup off the shelf, but that's just the first issue, so.
Savage Avengers, I gave it a shot because I enjoyed David Propose's Scout's Honor so much.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't work for me. I don't read Carnage, don't read Venom, don't read any mech stuff.
Yeah, Ram V. Yeah, Mech Strike. Yep, Crystal Cage. Ant-Man, I think the first issue that came out this week, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. Al Ewing is up and down for me. I'll have to see if that's any good. Did like that first new Fantastic Four. So I'm hoping that continues to be enjoyable. Dropped off of Hulk. Dropped off of Thor.
How about Alien? Have you been reading Alien at all?
I read the original run, and then lost interest after the first arc. Okay. And so this first issue, when it comes out, I'll probably dip my toe back in again. Same with Predator.
Are you one of those folks who hold Alien and Aliens and the original Predator up in high regard, or were they just kind of like, yeah, they're good movies, but not, I don't watch them annually?
I am in the latter. They were good movies. I did rewatch all the Alien films on like a COVID bender.
Gotcha.
At some point, I think it was like 4 or 5 of them, and yeah, the earlier ones are the better ones for sure. But yeah, so yeah, they're not like sacrosanct movies for me.
Gotcha.
But I do kind of like to just check in on the property from time to time, which is what I need to do with Star Wars stuff because I'm off of everything, even The Mandalorian, which I thought I would like, but was a rehash, so I didn't enjoy it at all.
Yeah, and we're getting a new chapter in the High Republic. Finally, feels like we've gone a little too long without that, but got that coming, which is good. And then the big one right now that we've been seeing a lot of sales for is I think it's going to be wrapping up. It's probably not in this. Yeah, it's not in this previews because I think it's a mini that's wrapping up is the Obi-Wan.
That's a big one. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, good timing and everything.
That Vader cover. That's some Palpatine.
Yeah.
Both, even the Rod Rice one with Palpatine's pretty wicked.
Yeah, that was one of those where it was like, I don't know that I can just read Star Wars, so I need to get in or get out, and I got out, and I probably need to check back in at some point. Maybe with the Dark Horse launch. Maybe I'll check in on the property with the Dark Horse launch, see what they do.
There you go. All right, we've collected editions now.
Yeah, you do a good business in collected editions and hardcovers, and do you have good customers
definitely.
that's just their thing?
Yep. And then we've got everything. We've got customers who get only collected. We've got customers who get only singles, and then we've got the ones in the middle. And Marvel cranks them out. We got an FF by Miller and Hitch omnibus coming out, followed by a reprinting of Guardians of the Galaxy by Bendis, which has a really cool direct market rocket cover. I like that one by Steve McNiven. And there's also a direct market only Alex Ross cover with Star-Lord on the front. That's pretty good.
Do you just bring in the direct market covers if they're not special order, or do you go with the A's?
If we're stocking for the shelf, we'll always grab an extra of the standard cover, but we usually will bring in at least one. Depending on the book, we'll bring in multiple of the direct market because those sell out the quickest, and
they do
tend to be the ones that people look for. Generally, they put the best art on the direct market ones.
Wow.
Thank you, Marvel.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, well, I guess I shouldn't say they put the best art because beauty's in the eye of the beholder. They will try and find art that is most evocative of that run, or is something new and unique that would set it apart on the shelf. So in the case of Annihilation, they had a new cover for the direct market, but it was insanely gorgeous. And then in some of the books, like the original Spider-Man ones, they will use a different cover, like a different John Romita cover that maybe is not the first issue of that volume, but it's a key issue, and it wasn't used in a previous printing, so it differentiates it, stands out. So yeah.
Trying to look and see if I have all the individual pieces of that Mark Spector Omnibus Volume 1. Yep, I think so. Yeah, it's a lot easier now for collectors. You don't have to go hunting this stuff and digging through boxes. They can just get one nice omnibus that collects all those appearances across all those books. It's much easier now.
Yeah, boy, we've got a lot of good omnibus coming out. We've got Volume 5 of The Incredible Hulk by Peter David.
Yeah.
Followed by Nova, Richard Rider omnibus with a This is one where you could go either way on the cover. The standard cover is a John Buscema, and then the direct market is a Keith Pollard, and they're both gorgeous.
Yeah, exactly. That Hickman Avengers is getting collected. Planet Hulk omnibus. Which I don't know if that.
Yeah, this is a big one because we
that went out of print, right?
For a while. Yeah, this is great stuff. This is a storyline that we recommend a lot. And it's Spider-Man versus Venom omnibus. Well, if you're an Omni collector, you might as well just sign over your paycheck.
My goodness. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to choose from. I don't know. Are people all in on omnibus?
I have one who's all in on the omnibus.
I know Epic Collections. I know. I was talking to Mike. I think he's there for a while. Was all in on those, and sometimes there'd be 5, 8 coming out at a time.
Yep. Got a few house ads here.
And then James, our friend James, he buys a lot of Omnis.
Yes, he does.
I don't know where he stores them, but he buys a lot of Omnis.
We got here down in the trade section, we've got Immortal X-Men by Kieran Gillen, Volume 1. The Moon Knight Black, White, and Blood Treasury Edition, so the oversized.
Oh, well,
format.
There you go. That's interesting.
Got a Miss Marvel. Oh, ASM by Zeb Wells and J.R. Jr., Volume 2.
Collect 6, 7, and 8?
Yep.
They must be
36 pages.
They must be one of those is the 900, right?
Right. 6, I believe 6 would be that one. That's the one that came out this week, square bound.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just really neat to see all this stuff collected and kept in print and findable.
Yeah. Punisher Volume 1 by Jason Aaron.
Now, I noticed Marvel canceled a few this week for, I guess, low pre-sales. I'm guessing that What If got canceled and something else that was in a previous order. But for the most part, they do a much better job than DC with their collected editions, correct?
Oh yeah. And it used to be that DC was kind of the king, that they had their stuff in print, and now it's kind of a circus act over there, depending on the month. I did not see the Marvel cancellations. Are those due to low pre-orders, or is that more due to their printing backlog and what we saw with last month's previews, where almost half the catalog was essentially canceled to be resolicited later?
I skimmed the headline because it was a Bleeding Cool article, and that website is garbage and has pop-up ads and is mostly lies. So it might not be true. But I think it was like along the lines of supply chain, low orders, and or that those sort of, whatever the reasons are, always
Gotcha.
thrown out there. So it was like 2 or 3 of those.
Well, speaking of epics, we've got, it looks like 4 of them. We've got an Iron Man, Iron Fist, Star Wars Legends, and an X-Men, which is, of course, this X-Men has some Jim Lee goodiness in it. And then we have Aranya, another OGN there. Or I guess digital first.
Oh, okay. Wonder what that was.
Yeah, there's been a couple of those that have come out too. A couple of the other ones are the Spider-Man. Yeah, there's a Spider-Man Loves series that's out there. There's only a couple of them. They come up periodically. Well, I don't know, Drew. You might want to look at picking up this Dazzler poster.
I know. My wife allow me to have that on the wall?
It's inside the comic room. What's in the comic room stays in the comic room.
Is that the way it works in the
Hellwig household? You got to put it on the back of the door, right? Isn't that what we always did as kids? Put the thing you didn't want mom to see on the back of the door, so that when she opened it, she didn't see it.
Yeah, we were slick.
Oh yeah.
Nobody could crack that code.
No.
I think that's all I had. That was plenty.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff this month.
Open up your checkbook, man. Lots of stuff. Well, let's slide over to the good folks at CBSI for their Hot 10. Eric, am I doing this one, or would you like to do it as the guest?
I can do this one.
Alrighty, go right ahead.
I'll do 1 to 10, and then you can take it from there. So,
well, that's the other one. This is the Hot 10.
Oh, that's right.
From CBSI.
I'm on the right page. That's
Okay. Yep.
all right. So leading off, the number 1 slot is Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars, number 1 from 1984.
Yeah.
9/8
awesome.
rose from $500 a week ago to $1,000 plus.
Isn't that amazing?
We don't know which Secret Wars the MCU is going to use. Could be none of them. Combination of all of them. Who knows? But to knee-jerk buy this book now for that price is insane, unless you're the seller.
Unless you're the seller. Exactly.
Number 2, runner-up here, Astonishing Ant-Man number 6. This is Nick Spencer's run. Virtually zero sales of this book for months, and then the Quantumania poster was revealed, and there's Cassie wearing what appears to be her Stinger costume. Boom, tons of sales, 40 to 50 raw.
Speckers.
Jeez.
Yeah, so predictable.
Number 3, we'll blast from the past here. Avengers number 8 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. May have heard of them boys. 9.0 selling for $8,100, 7.0 $3,300, 3.5 $900. After all the hype from the Loki show, the price soared, and then fickle buyers forgot about him, and the price dropped about 30 to 40% across the board. After San Diego, people remembered and were given confirmation that the next 4 years will all have Kang undertones, so they started buying again.
Yeah, that's a beautiful old comic, isn't it?
Sure is. Coming in the number 4 spot, we have Avengers 267. Interesting, similar to number 4 above. This is number 4. People kind of forgot about this one for a minute, as 9/8 dropped to 150 a month ago. Now it's back to 350. Kang again. Number 5 coming out of San Diego Comic-Con is the number 1 Adi Granov black and white variant of The Mandalorian. Was 140, now 250. So hop on that Star Wars bus.
Mando.
Then we've got Black Panther number 3 at the 6th spot. Continuously sold well, now up to $80 raw. People thinking he'll be in Black Panther 2, but I'd give that about a 5% chance according to whoever wrote this. But this one definitely continues to go. We have people asking for it every week in the store.
Yeah, same. Yeah, that Tosin guy.
Tosin, yep.
Yeah.
On the number 7, we've got Black Adam. This current run, number 2, Rafael Sarmento 1 in 50 foil variant. This is $100 plus. We mentioned this one on the Almost 10 last week because it was only selling around ratio out of the gate. Now it's up to 2 times ratio and appears to be going even higher. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a foil variant. It's great art, but it's cardstock and foil, so it's not going to be cheap for stores to bring in.
No.
Then we've got in the 8th spot, Black Panther number 8. This is the Jonathan Mayberry run. It was about a $10 to $15 book. Now it's $30. People are speculating that Annika will play a somewhat important role in the upcoming Black Panther movie. Got that one going.
Did you watch the trailer from San Diego?
I did not. No.
It's pretty impressive. Looks really solid.
All right. Well, I'll have to see. Number 9, Ant-Man from 2022, number 1. David Baldeon 1 in 25 variant. See these ratios, Drew. You got to get on the ratio train.
I know.
Writers Al Ewing, artist Tom Riley. But this is again the David Baldeon 1 in 25 variants, $40 to $50. So double ratio. I like the cover. Definitely has that retro feel. And that's true. It does. It kind of has the old picture box on the top left and just kind of old style, shadowy. Very cool.
I'm like the speculator equivalent of a penny stock buyer. You know, I'm not up there with the big boys and doing my hedge funds and short in stock and stuff. I'm kind of down there playing my own little game. I don't get into the variant stuff. So, you know, it's my own little version of specking and comics for fun and profit, you know?
You're digging the dollar bins, hoping for the $10 to $20 books.
Exactly. I'm hitting singles.
There's nothing wrong with that because you can score a lot of runs hitting singles.
Yes, yep, you can.
So to wrap it up here, number 10, Deathstroke Inc. Number 11, Ivan Tao 1 in 25 variant. $35 to $40. Like the style of this one, very Addams Family-ish. It is definitely. And to this person's credit, I wouldn't think many stores would be ordering this many copies. That is true. It's definitely one that tends to get overlooked. Usually Deathstroke has a good artist on the B cover, though, so we tend to get pretty close, and we generally at least have one of these 1 in 25s for this run, so that's cool. Very interesting here. For the honorable mentions, they have Miles Morales, Spider-Man #8, the Scotty Young variant, which is a limited to 1,500, $200 plus raw. It's that Scotty thing. Everybody wants Scotty.
Yeah, he comes and goes, right? Like people forget
comes
about
a lot
him.
more than he goes.
Yeah, it seems like sometimes people just like they don't gravitate towards stuff for a little while, and then all of a sudden they're like, his stuff's adorable. I got to pick that up.
Yep. And then we've got Secret Story Romances #4. This is a fine, very fine raw copy sold for $1,320. This is a rarity. There are exactly zero graded copies of this book until CGC gets them graded now that everybody sent them in this week. That makes as much sense as how Johnny made it through the snow with no footprints and is walking on ice and dress shoes. Wow, if you'd see the young lady in his arms, I think he probably floated.
Yeah, exactly.
Old romance comics, pre-code horror. If you can find them cheap and they're in good condition, they are not a bad investment.
Even if they're in fine, very fine condition.
Absolutely. As long as that cover's attached and you don't have any mouse visits or water damage or the old friend Rusty Staple, you're in good shape.
Yeah. Oops.
What's interesting I didn't see on here, and I'll make sure that my facts are correct, but I think that they might have missed a book here.
They didn't touch on 8 million genies this week.
They didn't touch on 8 million genies.
8 billion genies, I guess.
And they also didn't touch on Catwoman 45, the 1 in 25 cover C Sozo Mica variant.
Oh yeah, it was gorgeous.
And a couple days ago, copy sold for $82. Current one before that was $92.99. One before that was $90, and they're currently going for bids in the mid to upper 70s with time remaining. So there you go, freebies from me.
That's the honorable mention.
That's right. That's the off the script. Nobody knows it. Side road.
Yeah, fantastic. You heard it here first, folks.
Darn right.
Now let's take a look at some of the FOCs that are highlighted, and we're going to take a look at hot off the presses, the Cowabunga list of good stuff and what they have to offer. I'm going to take a quick look at some of the DC items. It's this Saved by the Bell Rev. Is this one of those quarterly $9.99 deals that DC does? Yeah, 80-page giant.
Yep, 80-page giant.
You never know. Sometimes those hit.
All right.
There's my Detective 27, which I'm breaking my own rule by paying more than $3.99 for a facsimile. But I mean, if you're gonna break the rule for anything, it's gonna be Detective 27, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty good stuff.
Now we missed one that I want you to go back and look at.
Okay.
I want you to check out the Action Comics 1046 Bermejo cover.
Oh, Superman there getting shot.
That is a gorgeous cover.
He is a talented individual.
Yes, he is. I much like that cover.
Yeah, it's great. And his Batman covers have been just amazing.
And there's a Supergirl Art Germ swimsuit variant right beneath that one.
That's pretty amazing too. Holy smokes. It's amazing in a different way.
Yeah.
Wow. So Art Germ's, like, his women are right up there with J. Scott Campbell's women.
I would put him far ahead.
Adam Hughes' women higher than both of them.
That's better.
Close?
I would. Yeah, it's close between hues. Yeah, different stylings.
I mean, some of those J. Scott Campbell Mary Jane covers are pretty amazing too.
It all falls apart at the nose for me.
Okay, all right.
Someone once pointed out the noses that he draws, and it's never left my head.
And now you can't unsee it.
I can't unsee it.
Kyle will go down a JRJR rant sometimes, and I'll be like, "Yeah, okay. Now that you pointed out, I see it. All right."
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not too up on the artist Zhu Orzu, Harley Quinn, the 1 in 25. Now I look at it and I go, okay, this one, doesn't have the same draw that like an art term would, but I have this like thing in the back of my head saying, oh, is this going to be one of those crazy pocket artists where it's under ordered and it just goes ballistically crazy, a la Rose Besh kind of thing.
It's not yet. It's not quite a watercolor, but it's kind of close, right?
Yeah, is it like Craypas or something?
Yeah, there's some kind of artistic Photoshoppy thing that they're doing there. That it's like a Monet painting, kind of, right? It's like impressionistic, I guess.
Yep.
And yeah, that's gonna resonate with somebody, not me, but somebody.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's like it's not necessarily a book I would hang on my wall, but
yeah,
I can imagine that it's one of those ones where there's like 1,000 people who really want it, and only 500 of them were ordered.
Yeah. And now the Ryan Sook, who's doing the Killing Joke homage.
That's a cool one.
Have we done Harley Quinn Killing Joke homage before? I don't know that we've ever seen that.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've seen Killing Joke homages before, but never Harley Quinn, I don't think. John Boy Myers does good work too. My God. I blew right by some of these. This Clayton Henry Robin connecting cover cardstock.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Brian Boland doing a Swamp Thing cover.
Man. Yeah, I was just getting to that one.
Holy smokes.
It's a lot of detail.
If you get a Brian Boland cover, you really can't go wrong.
No. What do we got here? Anything good in our other publishers from Lunar? Mr. Easta #1 from Scout. What's that look like? Oh, the Easter Bunny, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Are we on to
Image? Or whoever's next. Oni, I guess. IDW. Oh, Star Trek gets 400th issue. That's interesting.
celebrated with the old $7.99er?
Yeah. Did we determine if the Fortnite reprints are going to have codes?
They do not have codes.
Why are we going to? Why are we even reprinting those? Who wants those besides the Fortnite kids?
Couldn't tell you.
I guess people that just want it for the story. Beautiful Deadly Class cover. I'm looking forward to Sins of the Black Flamingo. That'll be good. And Public Relations. That'll be good.
Which publisher are you in?
Image. I'm jumping around. Sorry.
I see.
No rhyme or reason. Kyle hates it when I do that too.
Like, I'm still up here in Marvel going, where's he at? Certainly not necessarily a spec thing, but if you are an Afra fan, they are reprinting the Star Wars Dr. Afra Omnibus.
Oh, nice. Oh, and there's a Star Wars #1 from Dark Horse. Hyperspace Stories #1 of 12. Tales from the Rancor Pit hardcover. Now, is that collecting some of their material, or is that just a new OGN, I wonder? I don't know. That. Interesting.
Yeah.
So they get all the stuff that when they lost the license and Marvel could start reprinting their Tales of the Old Republic and stuff. Do they get all that back, or is this just a special, just for like an all ages license?
I believe they just have the all ages license, and the Rancor's Pit is a new OGN.
Okay, interesting.
Department of Truth. There's always a lot of people that pick that up.
It's still selling well, huh?
It is, yeah. It's got its loyal fan base that follows it. So
That Mandalorian photo variant for the second printing is very nice. People are going to flock to that, I think. Even though the story is the first episode. Interesting. When did Hackslash do a hardcover of their crossovers? That's interesting. So the Vampirella, Eva, Chaos. I don't think I've read all those.
mm-hmm.
I am a fan of Hackslash. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can go away from one or multiple of these DC offerings this week. I think that's where I'm at.
Think so, huh?
Yeah, I think my pick's going to be up in there. I'll let you go first, though.
Oh, I'm still cruising.
Okay. Oh, you still finding new stuff to highlight?
I'm just kind of looking and see what we got. Oh,
Uh-oh.
I think I might have found it.
What was it? Tell me.
I can't yet. I got to keep looking. There's still a couple more. I'm not even through the end of the list yet.
That's true. How did I skim so quickly?
I don't know. You were all over the place.
I was. I wasn't methodical about it.
All right, so the rules still hold. I can't pick a ratio.
Right.
Okay.
Has to be an independently orderable book that you can FOC for normal price.
Oh, if only I knew a guy.
You could probably order it for no price.
All right. I think I'm going to go off the beaten path a little bit.
Look at the gun honey. Oh my.
That's where I'm going.
Is that where you're going? The gun
That's
honey?
exactly where I'm going, and I'm going with the Gun Honey Blood for Blood cover B by Art Germ.
Oh, okay. Okay. Looks like a little Goldfinger action.
Yep, because issue 2 of Gun Honey had the Adam Hughes cover, and that was the money one. This Adam Hughes cover, different style of art. So I'm going with the B cover for Gun Honey Blood for Blood.
That might be it. That might be the one. I was trying to make a case for the cover F, Hagalt.
That's the other one that I was looking at too.
But yeah, I think you got it. I think it's definitely that Art Germ version. So I'm back up here then, and I'm vacillating a little bit, but I might have to go with Art Germ as well. This is going to be Action 1046, the beautiful swimsuit cover.
Should we throw a bonus? Kyle's not here, but in honor of him, we'll do the Harley Quinn homage to the Killing Joke.
Yeah, he probably would like that. He probably would like that. But it gets a little crowded when I'm trying to do show notes, and I'm trying to shout everybody out in a Twitter post that's 256 characters when we get too many things. But I'll do my best.
Sounds like you need to split this one up into 3 posts.
I don't like to do that.
Make people wait on bated breath.
I have a lot of rules, a lot of dumb rules that I follow. I don't know why, but yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right, now we're heading over to our good friends at Cover Price, who gave us a top 10 and a runners up, and I will give you honors if you would like to do the top 10 or the bottom 10.
I will let you take the top 10 this time. I did the first 10.
I will need to find it then. I know I emailed it to you. So there it is. There it is. Okay, so top 10. We're going to kick off with number 10 and work our way down. Tales of Suspense number 94 from 1967. First appearance of MODOK. After we got confirmation that he will appear in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania. So that's cool. We got 25 copies of this sold, and a high sale of $1,329 for a CGC 9.2. And a raw sold for around $155. Black Cat Annual number 1. This from San Diego again. A new 5-issue limited series was announced based on the Team Tiger division. Naturally, the squad of South Korea's mightiest defenders' first full appearance saw an uptick in interest in the cover A. 26 copies of this sold. High sale of $98.60 for a CGC 9.8 and a raw average of around $30. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars number 1. We had talked about that in the previous list. I loved Secret Wars. I thought it was great. I've never read it since I read it originally when I was a little kid, but I'm sure it holds up. 36 copies sold. High sale of $700 for a CGC 9.8. There was a high of $1,030 for a CGC 9.8, and the raw average selling at around $67. I got a few of these, so I'm gonna have to sell at least one. Sell one, keep one. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons comic book number 1 from 1988. Got several of these. Happy about this thing popping. Dungeons and Dragons has released its first trailer. So this thing spiked. 20 additional copies sold. High sale of $400 for a CGC 98. But the Raws are selling around $40. At rank 6, we have Avengers 267 from 1986. This is the first appearance of the Council of Kangs. So this sold an additional 21 copies. High sale of $350 for a CGC 98 and a raw average of around $46.10.
Not like we're getting exact on that one.
Yeah, it's just
And
that's the average, I guess. Yes, 46 and 10 cents. 8 Billion Genies comes in at rank 5. Continues to sell. Another 45 copies sold of just first cover A. High sale of $65 for a CGC 94. And that's weird. It's weird. That's like the first. Is that like the only CGC that came in? They don't have 9/8 on 8 Billion Genies. Doesn't make any sense at all. And an average at $28.
Well,
yeah.
I feel like we need to research that one quick, live on the air. There is a 9/8 up for bids right now. There was a Shelby variant that was best offer was accepted at one. There we go. All right, $140 for 8 Billion Genies 1 CGC 9/8.
Yeah. So as of this email that came out earlier this week, the only CGC was a 9/4. But there should be. I was thinking there was some 9/8s.
Yeah, we got it.
At rank 4, we got Black Panther number 8 from 2009. This sold 16 copies with a high sale of $50 for a raw and an average of around $33. This was the reveal of Aneka, who first appeared as the leader of the Dora Milaje. That's probably not how you pronounce that.
Dora Milaje.
Dora Milaje.
Mm-hmm.
At rank 3, we have Daredevil 227 from 1986. This is the appearance of Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock in Spider-Man. No Way Home gave fans hope that a new series from Marvel would follow. Well, it did. With the new series has a title, Born Again. This book marks the beginning of that fantastic run and the discovery of Daredevil's true identity by Kingpin. 31 copies of this sold with a high sale of $400 for a CGC 9/8 and a raw fair market value average of $47. At rank 2,
great story.
Yeah, is it? I don't know that I've ever read it. That's not Frank Miller, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the Frank Miller book?
Yep.
Didn't know he was on that one. I don't have 227. I've never seen that cover, so I definitely don't have it. At rank 2, we have Spawn number 1, the blank gold foil San Diego signed book. Todd McFarlane knows how to print money. 37 copies sold. A high sale of $242 for a raw and an average of $217. So pretty darn close to the high sale. And number 1 is Black Adam number 2, the Sarmento Virgin Foil 1 in 50, which I didn't think was that great, but whatever. It's number 1 here. Track 21 copies sold. High sale of $120 for the raw and an average of around $103.
You're just spicy because it's a ratio. All right, number 11. We went from 10 to 1. We're going 11 to 20.
I know, it makes no sense. You're
right.
That's
weird. Doesn't matter. Number 11, Grimm number 1, Veronica Fish, San Diego Comic-Con variant. So again, another San Diego exclusive. Tracked 13 copies at a trend of 113% with a high sale of 200 bones for a raw copy. Put your Grimm on.
Right.
Number 12 is the other Spawn number 1 San Diego gold foil book. This is the blank unsigned one, and 22 copies sold with a high sale of $250 for a raw copy. Next up at number 13, we have the Incredible Hulk 449. This is coming hot off the heels of Thunderbolts being confirmed at San Diego. This book is headed up again. 27 copies sold, 7-day trend of 114% with a high sale of $700 for CGC 9.8. Gotta love the Thunderbolts, man. If people haven't read that, that's great stuff. Wonderful,
Peter David?
wonderful storytelling.
Was that Peter David?
The original Thunderbolts was it Fabian Nicieza and Kurt Busiek?
Oh, okay. Kurt Busiek. He's good too.
He's kind of good. Let's see. Next up is number 14, Spawn number 1. Never heard of this book before. Driven by nostalgia and McFarlane fans, his first appearance remains the best and most consistent aftermarket seller year after year. 34 copies sold and a high sale of $300 for CGC 9.8. Not bad for a book about 5 years ago. You could get for $10 easy.
Easy.
Number 15, 8 Billion Genies number 3. Between the variants and standard covers, it seems the standard covers are selling more frequently. The standard cover of this issue sold 30 more copies than the variant, with 43 copies sold and a high sale of $30 for near mint plus raw copy. Pack fresh. Number 16, 8 Billion Genies number 2. Copy paste. High sale $32.
Exactly.
Number 17, Secret Wars number 1 from 2015. This is the Jonathan Hickman one.
Oh, that makes sense.
The A cover with art by Alex Ross. Can't go wrong there. And this had 25 copies sold with a high sale of $136 for CGC 9.6.
And you know what? It makes more sense to me that the rebooted Star Wars, Secret Wars, is going to do a little, is what the MCU is going to take on. More so than the Beyonder story from the 80s, right?
Yeah, it seems like there might be a little bit more connective tissue with what they've already done to the Hickman run. But
with Doom being involved in this one more, I guess he was in the original too, but yeah, I don't know. I would think it would work better here with Battle World and everything, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the MCU's been kind of a mishmash of timelines of things coming together. You know, you had some original West Coast Avengers Vision stuff, but then you had like the more modern Cap stuff where you had Ed Brubaker writing, the Winter Soldier. So it's kind of can't really pin it down. But hey, speaking of pin it down for me, number 18, Catwoman 45, Sozo Micah 1 in 25 variant. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
23 copies sold, high sale of $115 for a near mint raw copy. That's right. Comic guy knows a little something.
Mm-hmm.
Number 19, Avengers 268 from 1986. I can't remember if we called this one out or not. I feel like we've talked about it today, but just in case we haven't, key appearance. Many fans want to read this story all the way through. It's the second part of the King Dynasty storyline, and obviously with San Diego Comic-Con, that's pushing it up. 23 copies sold. High sale of $150 for a CGC 9.8. Lastly, number 20, we have World War Hulk number 1, David Finch cover. That's a beautiful cover. So much news from San Diego. Rumors are still bound to be afloat. Kevin Feige noted that more announcements would come soon at D23. That's the big Disney festival. One of those rumors still floating about is Mark Ruffalo's The Hulk. World War Hulk has been long desired storyline for the MCU. So we shall see. This has been going up at a 7-day trend of 169%, 15 copies sold, high sale of $250 for CGC 9.8.
Okay, I don't know. Are people still clamoring for World War Hulk as a standalone Hulk movie? Maybe.
Yeah, someone is. At least one person.
I think if She-Hulk does well, and Ruffalo will be in that. If that does well for Disney Plus, then I can see that happening. Maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Otherwise, if they're going to tackle another Hulk. Hulk movie, maybe. You never say never. The MCU can print money. Feige can print
This is
money.
true.
He knows what he's doing. All right, now it's time for sneak peek at next week. Let's take a quick look at what's coming out Tuesday and Wednesday, the 2nd and 3rd of August. So it's the first week of the month. So it should be a pretty big week, jam-packed full of good stuff.
Shall we start with Lunar?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's start in Lunar with some of their DC offerings, etc.
You just driving right past a Gretzko?
The Gretzko. Yeah, I did. I skipped that. Did you want to linger on that and talk about it a little bit?
Well, I mean, she's a pretty big thing. Netflix, I believe, is where her animated show is. My wife is a fan.
I gotta stay in my lane, man. I have no idea what that is. So thank you for the education, but I would have
no problem.
10 times out of 10 glanced right over that one.
No worries.
Gillum March doing a kind of a retro cover. Not the art style I'm used to with his indie work, but you know, he was doing Batman before he was doing some of the indie stuff that I like.
Yeah, this is an homage, and I'm having a brain fart where I can't think of a cover. But
yeah, I kind of like the Alex Garner cover B, but it also is leaving a little bit on the bone there. I'm not sure I love the Batman as much as I like the Robin.
I definitely like the background. I like the way the lights are rendered of the buildings and the cars and stuff.
Yeah, that is nice.
But yeah, they look a little blocky.
And the swimsuit does not work as much for me as the previous swimsuit did.
No, who'd have thought a swimsuit special edition with a hairy-chested Bruce Wayne
doesn't work for me as well.
Just isn't jiving. But hey, you know what? It's there.
Equal opportunity.
Yep. Now on the next slide's worth of stuff, the Batman Killing Time cover B, Kale New.
Yeah.
That's a neat looking cover.
Yeah.
But I think even more exciting than that is the Batman White Knight presents Red Hood. I've got a lot of orders for that, so hopefully people are not disappointed.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I didn't realize it was just going to be 2 issues. But yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah.
Black Adam Justice Society Files Cyclone #1.
You asked for it, they've delivered.
Okay, did I was that me that asked for that?
I don't know. Was it you?
I'm not sure. Please don't pin that on. Please don't pin that on me. Like that all red. You can tell an all red cover from a mile away, can't you? For Dark Crisis 3.
Certainly can. Ooh, all right. We've got a contender here.
Is
DC
this
vs. Vampires 8 cover B?
Who is this Nathan Jardy? Is he new?
Josh Middleton's brother.
Yeah, I could. Yeah,
or at least
very
the guy
much.
that looked over his shoulder in art class.
Yeah,
it's a very striking cover. I like it.
I want their Photoshop settings.
You
know, so how do you do the little glare, the light refraction? You know, what's that setting? How did you do that? How do you get the reflective leathery glow? You know, there's something in Photoshop where they've got these, they've perfected it, and it's probably just a preset now for them, and they can just crank these bad boys out. Not that it doesn't take a while. I'm sure it does.
Then we got to go to Harley Quinn 18 cover C, Ryan Sook homage. This one we talked about. I think we might have talked about it previously.
Yeah. I think we liked this during maybe an FOC.
Yep.
But yeah, that's a great homage.
Oh my gosh, boy, there's some really good stuff coming up here. Multiversity Teen Justice cover C, Stephanie Hahn's Raven. My daughter is a huge Raven fan.
Okay, cool.
So we'll have that one gracing the walls. And then right next to it, new champion of Shazam, Joshua Middleton. Oh, Mary Marvel. That is just wonderful.
She's a Raven fan from a show or the comics, or
she does not care. She saw the original Perez Raven when she was real little, and she thought it was the coolest thing. So
neat.
her first image of Raven was Perez, but she likes Teen Titans Go.
Cool.
Yeah, so she's all in.
Very cool.
Boy, there are some great DC covers this week. Another Josh Middleton, Poison Ivy 3.
Yeah, I actually like that. Prefer that over the Art Germ for surprise.
Yep. I mean, the Art Germ was a cool cover, a little more out there.
But the Middleton is top notch.
Just beautiful.
Yeah.
What else we got going on here? Sort of Azrael Dark Knight of the Soul one shot that's coming out.
Any buzz on that?
Not as much as I thought. There is quite a pocket of Azrael fans, but yeah, we'll see.
Are there two? Is one sort of Azrael and then one sort of Azrael Dark Knight of the Soul? Is it both coming out the same week?
One's a one shot and the other's a 6-issue mini.
That's an interesting choice.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that was intentional or if it's just the way that the printing presses rolled them out.
Yeah. I'd still think you would delay one of them to get the shelf space for itself, but that's just me. What do I know? Interesting. Very interesting. Oof.
It's going to be some tough choices already.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what good old Image has to offer. I hope that Transport 20XX Transport does well. And I read that on Panel Syndicate and really liked it, and it was a fun little one shot. So I hope that sells well. I doubt it will, but we'll see.
Dead Lucky #1.
I think 8 billion Genies second printing is going to do well.
Oh, we'll definitely sell a lot of it. There's no doubt about that.
I'm looking forward to reading Golden Rage. That looks like a fun one. Anyone reading Little Monsters?
Yep, we've got a couple of folks. Yep.
Good.
Sweet Paprika, Scumbag, Spawn. Spawn, of course, always successful.
Is the main title do better than King, Spawn, Gunslinger, whatever the other one was?
Honestly, they sell, I think, identically the same. Because if you're in on one, you're in on all of them.
In for a penny, in for a pound. That makes the most sense. Yeah.
Yeah, especially with most of them being $2.99.
Yeah.
Stillwater. Twig. Oh, go ahead. Stillwater. That's
Stillwater and That Texas Blood are both really great books. Really great reads. I love them both. Twig's doing well.
Twig's doing amazing. It's Scott Young. It's actually kind of a cute story. At least
I've enjoyed it. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. And Kyle Strom's art is really nice.
It is. It's nice.
And it's different than what I've read or seen of his stuff before. I think what was his stuff from? Was it Nailbiter? Is that right? No, Spread. So it was like a horror type book. So definitely a different style.
On to the Boom.
Yeah.
Got a Grim 2-second printing. Not much in Boom.
No, they have their weeks.
Anything good here in Dark Horse? Avatar, Cyberpunk, Frankenstein, New World.
I did enjoy the mind management bootleg #1. I enjoyed that, so I'm looking forward to this second issue, and I'm also looking forward to Survival Street. So that should be fun.
Yeah. Let's see. IDW. Dinosaurs. Godzilla Rivals. Just a bunch of licensed stuff. G.I. Joe, Godzilla, Transformers.
Demon Wars, Iron Samurai. Is that Momoko, I'm guessing?
Yeah. Yep.
Edge of Spider-Verse. I'm looking forward to that. This is Slot, right? Getting to finish this up.
Yep. This one we've got good orders for, so this will be an exciting one.
Yeah. Lots of new characters, maybe.
I think there's a lot of people that are looking forward to the U cover on this one.
Oh, interesting. I don't know. Have we seen that before?
I have no clue.
Issue 14 of Moon Knight with a Spidey cover option.
Spider-Punk 4, that's been one that's had really strong orders.
I only read the first one. I don't know that I've read any more since then.
There's a big one, Tales of Suspense 57 Facsimile.
Yeah, that's is that first Hawkeye or first Iron Man?
First Hawkeye.
First Hawkeye. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Do you have Dynamite pull box people?
We have a couple. Tend to do more of the Red Sonja.
Yeah.
Than anything. The Immortal Red Sonja. A couple of Vampirellas. We don't really do much with Project Superpowers, but the Red Sonjas tend to do well, especially if there's a Perillo cover. The Yoon cover is always going to be a good one too.
They're actually quite subdued this week.
Mm-hmm.
Not 1,000 covers.
Let's see anything in the back half here that looks exciting. L's #1. Is that a Blaze?
That's it's a Blaze. So is it all ages or not?
Hard to tell.
It's
Most
one
of
of
their
those.
stuff is not.
Yeah.
What's we got here? Hawk the Slayer.
Nice to see Boundless still. Oh no, that's just their clearinghouse.
Yep.
It's like, oh, Boundless is putting something out. No, they're not.
Just robots. What's this? Sacrament number 1 from AWA. The Exorcist meets Alien.
Okay. Usually their stuff's pretty good.
It is. I mean, it doesn't really jump on the secondary market, but it's almost always a good read.
That and Aftershock, it's really tough to not read those.
Yeah.
Ooh, we get Two Gun Terror from American Mythology. A nice little supernatural western, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Well, I don't know about that. I like westerns every once in a while, but I don't know why you gotta go too crazy. This Vineyard that's Aftershock, isn't it? Brian Hawkins. I think I read Black Cotton.
Not a lot in the back half here.
That's kind of slim pickings anymore.
Well, I picked first
Yep.
in the FOC, so it's only fair that you pick first on this one.
I am torn between a Slam Dunk, 8 Billion Genies second print, and that's too easy. So Kyle takes those layups. And Kyle's not here, so we're gonna go not a big reach, but we're gonna go with Edge of Spider-Verse number 1. And see what kind of new characters we get introduced.
Sounds good. I am going to go with Poison Ivy 3, cover B, Josh Middleton.
Ooh, interesting. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. Cannot go wrong with that.
I love the original Shazam, Captain Marvel stuff, so there's a little part of me that wanted to go with Mary Marvel, but I think that's a little too pocketed.
You didn't want to make a selfish pick, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful Mary Marvel, though.
All right. That has been a show, folks. A 2-hour episode. Look at that. Thank you.
It's
again,
a good thing we
Eric.
get paid by the hour.
Oh, you get paid?
Oh, my people will be in touch with your people.
You'll invoice me.
That's right. It's in the mail.
Like Diamond. Every get flooded
randomly.
With random invoices will come in. But I do want to thank you again for sitting in for Kyle. We appreciate it very much. I know you're very busy, and listeners enjoy your voice and your perspective on things. So thanks for carving out some time and being here.
My pleasure. Yeah, it's always fun, and it's a nice little return to home base for me to do this kind of stuff. So I certainly appreciate the ask, and I know you say I'm always welcome, and I tend to forget. So don't be afraid to poke me periodically and say, "Do you want to come on tonight?" And chances are, if I can, I will.
All right, we appreciate that. With that, we'll call it an episode, and we'll talk to you later.